Alright guys, welcome aboard. Going to be flying the FlyJSim 737-200. Got it decked out in the old school Air Cal livery here. We're sitting at Phoenix. We're going to be going to Santa Ana, John Wayne Airport in California. And I've got a new plug-in, so I thought I'd just kind of go over that really quick. Ultra Weather XP here. Real nice, and I'm just going to adjust it ever so slightly here. Probably screw around with some of the settings in here, but basically what it does is it redoes the entire weather, you know, the clouds, the sky textures, all that stuff. And there's a couple little quirks on it here. Like when I started up, my moon glow is like all the way up, like at like whatever, a couple thousand. So let me turn that down. That may be a quirk in this version. I gotta keep clicking on it. I know I can't grab the slider because it's kind of slid all the way to the side there. So let me just get back down to where it probably should be, which is about 10 right there. I've picked a sky color that I like. This one here, number 7, and everything else is kind of set up the way I like it right here. I did select the sea color of green, being that I'm in California. It kind of looks closest to reality. And ambient sounds, if I turn this up, you probably hear all the ambient sounds there. So I just crank that down. We don't need too much of that. Clouds, I'm just using 8. I really haven't played around with this one. Cloud smoothness, look at that, it's kind of weird. So there's a little weirdness here going on, but I don't know, I'll just leave that right there. Make sure none of the other sliders are all over the place. And it should save it when I exit out. So let's just jump back into it. Yep, everything else looks good. What I will do is I'm going to change the time, because it is real world time right here. So let me just change that. And we're just going to customize that. We'll do that so that I can slide my time back and forth a little bit. I'm going to make it a little bit later in the afternoon. So let's get the sun down here. As a matter of fact, let me jump out here and I can show you the sun. There it is. We'll see it going down. Going to make it kind of an evening flight. We'll see how that looks. It looks really great at sunset. So I'll just show you what this looks like. Though I did find one kind of quirk, at least that I don't like, and that's that the clouds tend to be a little bit too bright. Look at that, it looks fantastic. That actually looks pretty good for right now. Let me go up a little bit higher. You can take a look at the city lights and all that. You can adjust the brightness of the city lights. And yeah, the only little quirk is, at least that I think the cloud should be a little bit darker. And you adjust that right here, so you can kind of get that, I don't know, I'm going to leave it right there. We'll leave it right over there. Looking gorgeous. City lights coming on. Alright, anyway, since we'll do an evening flight, I'll leave the clouds where they are. Bring the sun up just a little bit here. And yeah, right about there. Looks good. Let's jump in the plane. Let's get fired up and get on our way. Pretty much a straight shot out to the west. And we're just going to eyeball it here. It's more of a little demo flight with the new weather plug-in. So what do I got to do first here? Oh my goodness, I keep forgetting what I got to do. Alright, GPU, let's get that fired up. And I'll adjust the volumes as we go. Alright, there we go. We got our ground power, so let's go turn that on, turn that on. Go over to our ground power. And let's see, what else we got to do here? We'll get our lights on. And we'll get our APU started up. Take a look at my fuel here. We should have plenty for the short flight out to Santa Ana. Alright, good enough. And let's see, I'm trying to think what else I gotta do. It's been a little while since I've flown this plane. Takeoff is gonna be 5 flaps, so we'll set that. Not gonna play around with the payload, that looks good. We'll turn that GPU cart off. Everything's closed up, right? Yeah, closed. Alright, that's it. Let's get our seatbelt signs on and smoking sign on. We'll get our beacon on. That'll, I think, get some passengers seated. Switch that over to ground power. What are we going to fly up to today? I don't know. Let's go up to, we don't need to go up too high. Let's just go up to 26,000. 26,000 feet. We'll set that on the pressurization here. Let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. Santa Ana's down about 20-ish feet. There, we'll get our APU bleed on. Get one of our packs on. Get our Gasper fan on. Alright, looks like we got APU power. Let's go ahead and switch over to APU. And get everything else configured over here. Ready for departure. Alright, that's set. Gallery, yeah, we're going to keep that off for right now. Otherwise, that all looks good. Turn up our lights. Alright, got it. I got our smoking and seatbelt signs on. Let's get our window heat on to start out. Get our electrical hydraulics powered up. And let's see, that's all good. That's all good. This all looks good and ready for departure. Alright. So we are sitting at the southwest ramp in Phoenix. Let's go ahead and set up our departure here. Actually, let me check the winds really quick. Winds are out of the southwest. Okay, good. So we'll let's take a look at our airport diagram. We will take off runway 25 right. So that should be a nice short taxi. Alrighty, let's see where we're taxiing. Nope, we're going to be going the opposite direction, so let me delete that. We'll have them push us back to right there.
Ground to cockpit, plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
Sorry if you got a double there. I turned down my local volume. Alright, so we're ready. Let's call them.
Ground to cockpit, tow is driving up.
Alright, and while he's doing that, let's take a quick look through the windows here and make sure nobody's got their shades down, which for some reason on this plane they tend to do. There we go, looking good. So I hit my brake just so we get the gate out of the way. Put our brake back on. And let's see, our heading out of here is basically, we're just going to do straight shot 262. So let's set that right here.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Alright, go for it. And altimeter setting, let's go ahead and I'm going to bring up the map just so we can get our altimeter setting. What do we got? Let's see what they got for winds. Winds 030 at 5. Okay, well that's totally different than what's happening in real world, but 5 knot tailwind won't be a big deal. Altimeter 2992 looks good. I'll double check that. 2992, 2992 there, and 2992 there.
Tow
Okay.
connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Alright, parking brakes off.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Alright, let's get the packs off and get number 1 started up, or correction, number 2. While we're waiting for that to spool up, I'm just going to hit the trim here, set us up for departure. Alright, there's 20 on the N2. I know that's loud, but I just love listening to those engines spool up. Alright, let's fire up number 1. I'm just going to double check my altitude here, right? 26,000, yep.
Operation complete. Go ahead and set the parking brake. Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Alright, looks like we get a good start on both engines here. Let's go ahead and go over to engine power. Go over to Gen 1. Put our pitot heat on it this time. And get our packs back on. APU bleed off and APU off. Go outside and watch that truck disconnect.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have fun up there.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have fun. Sorry, I was doing that and I realized I didn't have my mic on. I was just doing a flight control check there, so everything looks good. Parking brakes off. Let's spool up these engines, get over here to the end of the runway, and get on out of Phoenix, heading for Santa Ana. And I just did a delete of my preferences folder, so my frame rate should be nice and back up to their usual selves here. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a preferences folder inside of the output of the X-Plane installation. And at least some people, including myself, have found that sometimes you got to delete that folder. If you notice that your frame rates are going to the crapper for no apparent reason, you got to delete that, back it up first, and then delete the preferences folder, restart X-Plane, it'll recreate. Sorry about the jumpiness there. Parking brake on. X-Plane will recreate the preferences folder, and then you take a couple of files in there, like your joystick assignments, key assignments, and any additional things that get stuck in there by some add-ons or airplanes or anything. Put them back in from your backup, restart X-Plane again, and literally you get like another 10 frames additional. Alright, so we're ready to go here. Let's just make a final check over here. Everything looks good up top. We'll go engines to low ignition, strobes on, landing lights on, and we'll put our wing lights on at this time too. Everything else looks good over here. And do a quick recall, nothing indicated. Alright, we're ready to go. So we're going to pretty much go straight out and then turn heading 262, climbing at 26,000 feet. We got a little bit of a crosswind, tailwind. Let's see how that does here. Parking brakes off.
Approaching 25 right. On runway 25 right.
Alright, looking good. Let's power up the engines. Usually go about halfway and let them get spooled up and stabilized, and bring them up the remainder. Bit of rudder to counteract that crosswind.
E1, rotate.
Neutralize and rotate. Positive rate, gear up. Do a quick flyby. Down a little bit. And flaps to 2. I'm going to go ahead and bring down the sim volume here, so I'm not yelling. Bit of a bumpy departure out of here. Alright, flaps all the way up. Trimming. Alright, bring the power back. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and hit my elevator hold there. Okay, I'm going to bring the nose down again here. I'm kind of bumping it up pretty quick. And get the remainder of our autopilot on. Go over to heading hold. I'm And throttle back here. And just hold that indicated airspeed here. Try to stay below 250. Alright, let's get cleaned up in here. Gear handle to off. We can get our outboard landing lights off. Get our taxi lights off. Igniters to off. Wing lights off. Logo light off. We'll get our flight director on too. Hazy day in Phoenix today. Looks like some water down here. Getting reflections from the sun there. Yeah, that's water. An eye on our airspeed here. Bring the power up again. So it should be coming through this little cloud layer right here. And we are on course. Maybe we'll tune in some VORs here in a second. So here's where you kind of adjust your clouds. I know I've got them fairly bright for the time of day here. So if you bring them all the way up, you're like, I mean, I guess the sun is still up, so kind of about 84 looks good to me, at least for right now. I did find that in the evening, you kind of want to turn it down. Gives a little bit more realistic view. As the clouds refresh there, we got a little bit of view down below finally. I have not played around with the cloud textures, just that one that I've selected here. Number 8 Puffy. I don't know if that's extended blending is on. That looks pretty nice to me. Let's see if we can see some shadow here. Yeah, you can see the shadows of the clouds down here. Sun coming through. I think we'll leave the time of day right here as is, and maybe bring it a little bit closer to dusk once we get closer to Santa Ana, which should not be very long here. Total flight time here is probably about 50 minutes in, so we should be on the ground in Santa Ana pretty quick. Bring the nose down a little bit there. We're almost up at our flight level of 260. Start picking up some speed. Yeah, I definitely like this Ultra Weather XP add-on. It was $35. It is payware. It's got a few little quirks. So like I said, with the cloud coloring and stuff like that, but definitely improves the realism here. I mean, look at that. That just looks fantastic with the ortho and the clouds, the cloud shadows and everything. Looks fantastic. I'll put a link in the description also for it if you want to check it out in the org store. Alright, so as we get up to our altitude here, let's take a quick look at some VORs. See what we can tune in. I'll bring that up on the screen here too. So there's Phoenix. There's our straight shot route here. What do we got? It looks like, is that Blythe? Yes, it is. 117.4, so let's go ahead and tune that in. Alright, so we got 77 miles to Blythe here. we're at our cruise altitude. We'll start speeding up here, so I'm going to have to throttle back. And we can bring this around. And pretty much on course. I'm going to fly almost right over the VOR. Alright, so there's our altitude. I'm going to bring the power back to, I think, 188 over here. Maybe a little bit lower. Maybe it was 178. There we go, somewhere around there. Should give us a decent cruise speed here, about 0.72, 0.73-ish. We'll see how high we can get up. Unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be a little bit of a rockin' and rollin' flight. So at least the real world weather in Orange County is winds 240 at 7, 10 miles visibility. We got few clouds at 2,800, altimeter 2987. So it should be a nice arrival, including the fact that we're gonna make it a dusk arrival. Sunset coming down. So this is the first flight I'm doing, well, at least that I'm recording, with the weather plug-in here, so that's why I keep looking around. I want to see how it looks here. I did have another plugin that I tried along with this one. That was the NOAA weather plugin, so that kind of gave you a little bit more, I guess, definition. It loads the real-world weather with more fidelity. But I seem to have a couple problems there using it. So I'm gonna work on that before I actually use it on a recording that I'm gonna post. So this is the default X-Plane real world weather generator. Bit of a bumpy flight here, and it looks like we got a little bit of a crosswind here because we're getting blown to the south, so I'm going to go ahead and change my heading here a few degrees. Try to compensate for that. Let's take a look at our airspeed. We're getting up there. We got to bump it down a little bit more on the throttle, that is. Some ortho stitching there, sort of mismatching. Don't mind that. Yep, we never got our landing lights off. Here we go. Alright, we'll leave our strobes on. Just double checking the pressurization, looks good. Alright, well, I will let you watch the desert go by here just a little bit. I'm going to take a quick break and grab a fresh bottle of water. Be right back. Alright, back in the cockpit. Let's see what it looks like up ahead. I don't know about the reflections here on the Colorado River. I know that it changes with the sun, but let me see what we can do here. Oh, there's waves. See, so we can change the waves. We go to waves 2. That looks a little bit more realistic there. Waves 3. Maybe it wasn't taking, because now I'm waves up 1, and that looks a little better. Again, little quirks like that with this, you know, you gotta click on it, I guess, to get it looking correct. Let's see. Let's see if we can see the river here. Yeah, it looks pretty good. A little bit better. Okay, so I'm just looking on my chart here. I think I'm going to set the Riverside VOR, which will set us up nicely for a straight-in approach. And, or is it the Paradise? No, sorry. Yeah, Paradise VOR. Paradise VOR is 112.2. Let's pop in here. So we're picking that up already, so I'm going to go ahead and just switch over the primary here. We'll use that as our descent guidance also. Let's take a look. As a matter of fact, we're just going to go right to it right now. So I'm going to switch over to VOR on the heading. Hold. We'll track that all the way inbound. Alright, are we getting a little bit smoother air here? I think we are. So we'll start our descent about 80 or so miles from the VOR. We're at 130 now. And we're only at 26,000. And that's only to the VOR. Then we've got a little bit ways to go inbound to Santa Ana. Let me take a look at some approaches there, see what we got. Here we go, ILS localizer, runway 20. Let's take a look at that. Bring that up for you. Alright, and there's our VOR we're going to be coming into. So we'll track 256 outbound from it. And pick up the localizer, which is going to be 111.75. So let's go ahead and set that 111.75. And then we got Paradise. We'll use that on number 2. And then we can use Seal Beach 115.7 to define some of the ways, the waypoints there. So 115.7. We'll set that up for number 2. Never turned on our transponder there. Let me get that on. Whoops. Real nice how it does that shadow on the clouds. We'll get our ATIS input into the COM1 here. What is it? 126.0. That's looking real nice. Let's see if we're getting close to our descent. Top of descent here. We can verify that. Oh, you know what? I've got AviTab. Let's take a look at that. And we will go to maps. And we will load our Los Angeles sectional. There we go. Right over Chiricahua Summit. Let me zoom out a bit here. Alright, there we are. So yeah, just coming up to the Coachella Valley and Palm Springs. Right ahead of us here. So let's go ahead and start our descent here. Well, I'll wait another 8 miles. I said 80, so we'll hold to that guess. As a matter of fact, what I'll do now is kind of get us going down into the sunset here. Let's get that sun down a little bit lower. Alright, and here is where I kind of want these clouds to be a little bit darker. I guess they could be a little bit lighter. It's a matter of what your preference is. There you go. Something like that, I think, looks good. Yeah, I'm gonna have fantastic horizon. That is why I paid $35. Stop putzing around here and get into our descent. So what I'm going to do is go off of altitude hold, bring our power all the way back, and let's start our descent. Nose over a little bit. Somewhere around, somewhere down. What did I screw up? Oops, I went back to altitude hold. Yeah, there it goes again. See, sometimes it does that for me here. Hold on, come on. Off. There we go. Alright. Why is it doing that? We got VOR lock. Altitude hold off. Nose over. That may just be a quirk with I don't know, with my mouse here or something. check it. There we go. Yep, we're descending. Alright, 68 miles out. Let's enjoy the sunset here. Okay, and then we were going to go... Oh, you know what I did? I bet you that's what I didn't reduce the altitude here. Dumb. Yeah, that's what it was. I forgot to do that. Always something. Alright, I'm going to take a look at the approach chart. So, we want to be at about 3,500 at this intersection that we're going to pick up, which is Sagar intersection, 3,500. So I'm going to bring that down all the way to 3,500. Yes, I'm blaming the sim and the cockpit and the airplane, and it's just me. Keep an eye on our airspeed here. So power's all the way back. I got a good descent going down here. Another 60 miles to go. We'll see what this the sunset looks like. When we get down below the clouds. But yeah, that looks nice. Let's go outside here. Hopefully it won't be too loud. Now we're kind of right over Palm Springs. Actually, I do want to see how the clouds interact with the Mount San Jacinto right here. There's a feature in ultra weather here for avoid cutoff. It's at 0, but I guess you can change that. I'm not going to touch it right now because I just don't want to screw it up. But you know, when you get clouds that are kind of chopping into the mountain and whatnot, you can use that to get rid of that. I haven't played with it because I don't know, so far that looks pretty good to me. I go right over Mount San Jacinto here. And unfortunately, no, there is no snow on it at this time of year. So we'll just make believe, but that's the ortho for you. See if we get a smooth ride all the way down here. The tail end of Palm Springs. This is the Banning Pass, I think it's called. That's Banning Airport. That's a good thing we got the ILS set up here, because we're going to need it. That sunset looks gorgeous. I think we're doing good on our descent. Looking forward to look at the sun here a little bit longer as it gets down below the clouds.
Orange County, John Wayne Information Line. 000 Zulu weather. Wind 030 at 5 variable 010 to 050. Visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 9,900 broken. Temperature 14, dew point -4. Altimeter 2992. Arriving runway 20 right. Departing runways 20 right.
Okay, 2992. So
advise on initial.
We'll leave it right where it is. Haven't had to touch it. So that looks pretty neat, huh? I like it. Yeah, that looks gorgeous. Popping in some haze there. Still seeing the sun glinting there. Let's keep an eye on our altitude here. And slow up our descent just a little bit. To get our airspeed down also. Turn that volume down a little bit. So I keep just wanting to look out the window here. All those pretty colors. It's March Air Reserve Base right ahead of us here. Get our speed down here to 250. Actually going to hold here. We kind of descended kind of quicker than I anticipated. Bringing up the power here. Trying to hold right around 250. And enjoy that sunset above the clouds. Alright, and then we're going to want to head outbound, what was it, 256. As soon as we get over to the VOR. And then as soon as we're heading outbound, we'll switch over to the ILS frequency. We are visual here at the moment. Let me play around with the sun a little bit here, so if I bring it up a tad. Actually, I want to see the sun going below the cloud there. Yeah. It's off in the haze. Let me see. I still want some of that sun glint. I'll leave it right there. It's been bumpy the whole way here. Again, I got to play around with my weather plugin that gets the weather data. Checking my lights here. Guess I didn't even turn the lights up in the cockpit. So I can grab them here a little bit. There we go. Turn them all the way up. one of the other features the plugin has is you can change the city lighting here, so the intensity of it. Let me see. Now you can see. Let me get a view here that has some city lights. Oh, it's not dark enough yet, so let me do this. What did I have it on? I had it right about there. I'm gonna bring it down just so the city lights come down. So I'm bringing down the time. There we go. All right. So I'm gonna bring this here, and see, you can change the intensity. There's 100, looking crazy. Bring it down. I kind of like it bright. I like it right around 50-ish. There we go. Swinging my views all around here. Alright, I think we are outbound already, so let's go. Nope, we're just coming up 3 nautical miles, so I'm going to go ahead and hit my heading hold here. And then switch over to our ILS frequency. And switch that one over to Seal Beach. Alright, and the inbound course is going to be 196. Continue our descent down here to 3,500. Just coming through the pass here. You can see how the brightness on the city lights, what that does. Here's the freeway. This is the 91 freeway coming out of Corona and into Anaheim Hills and Anaheim. You can see our airport right there. We're going to come around the mountain here and track back in. But man, doesn't that look good? We lost the city lights. There's the sun up. Bring the sun down. Just till we got the lights coming on right there. Alright, we'll do that as the approach. Okay, we're picking up our VOR here. I'm going to go ahead and go off of heading hold. I'll just fly it manually here. And as soon as that needle starts coming in, I'm going to go to the VOR lock. It usually happens right past the pass right here. As the sun gets a little bit lower, it's getting a little bit darker. I think we can afford to look around a little bit. And there's Ontario off in the distance, and I believe that's Corona or Riverside, can't remember. Let's keep our eyes inside to the cockpit. The only thing I wish, and this is an X-plane thing, is that I want the lights to go all the way out. Hopefully they fix that with the next couple versions here, maybe the 11.3, I don't know. But I want to see the city lights going all the way out. I don't want to pop it in like that. Alright, there goes our heading right there. Our localizer's in. You know, it kind of sped up here a bit, so I'm gonna throttle back, hit the spoilers, bring them up as we blow through our localizer. It's okay, we'll get slowed up. Bring the nose up a little bit. We got a little room here to maneuver. You know what, as a matter of fact, I'm just going to turn this whole thing off. It's such a nice day on here. We can just hand fly it from here. Alright, so flaps 1. Now you can see with the lights cranked up, it does give you that nice glow. Make sure this is turned off, off. Yep, okay, good. Flight director's still on. Let's go flaps 2, flaps 5, we're still a little fast. We can get our landing lights on. Okay, spoilers armed. Let's go flaps 10. Actually, I'm going to bring the spoilers up, get ourselves slowed up here kind of quick. Getting a little bit of wind shift here. I'm going to turn up the volume here so you can listen to all the goodness as we do the final approach. Gear down. Flaps 15, 25, and 30. Gonna be a bumpy approach all the way down.
Flight slow.
Approaching 2.
Okay,
0,
gear down.
right.
3 green. Flaps are set. Landing lights on. Clear to land. A little low on the glide slope. Spoilers armed.
400. Flight slow. 300.
Thrust reversers engaged. Manual braking. Thrust reversers off. Alright, well, worst time for the scenery to reload or the weather to update right there at the right there when we were going to rotate into the flare. But managed to save it for a 127 foot per minute rate of descent there. Slowed up here. My goodness. I need a new GPU. Frames are kind of dropping here a bit. Alright. Let's get taxi lights on. landing lights off, so we start blinding everybody. And get our strobes off. Logo on. Alright, we'll taxi over to the ramp and then do a replay here. Get our spoilers down. Get our flaps up.
0, 2, right.
And we'll just take the first gate we come to here. Do a replay. Do a couple of them. I want to see how that looks with the nice sunset here. I think I gotta turn my anti-aliasing up a little bit. That's one of the things that happens when you reset your preferences folder. It changes it sort of brings your graphics settings back to sort of default. Let me see if I can get into, I don't know where the gate is. There it is. Alright, we're gonna be off a little bit, but that's okay. There we go. Let's park her right there. Shut her down. Let's go into replay mode. And let's see where we're at. I think we will do it right from there. So, guys, hope you enjoyed that. Again, Ultra Weather XP is the plugin for this fantastic looking sunset approach into John Wayne Orange County Airport. Let's go ahead and watch that from one of the wing views here. If you haven't already, go ahead, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button to get notified when I post new videos. Thanks for watching. Until next time, bye. Well, take care again, guys. Bye.